REVIT has an interesting feature called design options, which allows us to test different designs within the same time period, selecting one before moving on to the next phase of the project. If we want to see what design options have been created in this particular project, we select the design options command on the status bar down here at the bottom of the screen. We see that this project has two design option sets, entry windows and entry roof. Each of these sets have two options. There's actually no limit to the number of options. You can see there's a new button down here to make additional options for the currently selected set. We'll close this and notice that in this particular 3D view, if we type VV, there's a Design Options tab in the Visibility/Graphic Overrides dialog box for this project. We click on Design Options tab, and for each design option set there's a row. And the automatic one is whatever the primary design option is set to back in that Design Options dialog. So that's what's going to show up by default in every view. But if we set it to option 2 for entry windows, we'll notice these three simple double hung windows change to narrower, taller windows. Likewise, if we change the entry roof design option set to option 2 and click apply, we'll see a curved canopy shows up over the main entry doors. So we have the ability to have any combination of these two design option sets showing up on the screen at any time. Next, we'll take a quick look at how we can create design options. Let's go to the second floor plan and zoom in on the office. Maybe we just simply want to have two different furniture layouts. So we'll start by going to Design Options. We'll create a new option set. We'll give that option set a meaningful name. And then we'll have our first option, which is the primary option that will show up everywhere by default. And then we'll create a second option. So maybe this first option we'll rename and call it Simple. And then the next one we'll rename and call it High Tech. And I'm just making these up. You can call it whatever you want. So we have Simple and High Tech in a design option set called Office Layout. We'll click Close, and because all of this furniture was created previous to creating that Office Layout option set, when we select any of these elements, we'll notice in the Properties dialog box that the design option is set to Main Model. So maybe we just want to test it on this table and chairs for the moment. If we want to take this table and two chairs and move them into an option set, with them selected, we'll click this Add to Set command. In this Add to Set dialog, we have to pick the set we want it to go into, and if we leave both of these checked, the table and the two chairs will be copied into each design option, thus resulting in where there was essentially 3 elements in the model, now there will be 6 that REVIT is keeping track of. So let's say that we just want to adjust one a little bit from where it is. So we'll go ahead and leave both of those checked. Click OK. Down here on the status bar there's a drop-down list where we can change the active design option. So we simply click on this drop-down list and we see the grayed out text is the name of each option set, and then under that are the options for that set. So in this case, maybe I want to edit the High Tech option. I'll click on that, and now everything in the model is grayed out and not selectable except for the three things that happen to be in this design option. So I know I called this high tech, and what I'm about to do is not really relevant to the name, but I'm simply changing the layout of those elements. And when I'm done, I'll switch the active option back to main model. And it appears now that everything I just did was undone, but if you'll remember, option 1 is the primary option. So by default, that's what shows up everywhere. If I want to see option 2 and have it stay on the screen so that it'll show up in the prints and in the documents, I'll type the letter VV or VG, go to Design Options, and then I'll set the Office Layout to High Tech. So now instead of switching the current active editing mode for design options, we're actually hardwiring a specific design option for a view. So now you can see the adjustments that we made are showing up. You can always duplicate views in Revit and have each option show up. You could even duplicate this view twice and have one view that is cropped to this room only and shows the first option, and then the second view is cropped the same way and shows the second option. Both the option 1 and 2 then can be placed next to each other on a sheet, yet you still have the overall floor plan view unaffected. If we go back to VV, Design Options, and switch Office Layout back to Automatic, and then OK, now this goes back to the way it was. So that's a quick look at design options in Revit.